So now we're on to a point that Joe Burrow is just a bad quarterback? Bro, it's been 1 week.
You should be nervous, and I think it's time to, we got to start keeping it real for Joe Burrow. If Lamar Jackson throw that ball and his toe ain't out, it's a lot of ifs. If Jalen Hurts look down the middle of the field and read cover 2 and don't throw it and it ain't, it's a lot of ifs, but them dudes take a lot of heat. Joe Burrow has not been good, man, the last 2 years. And starting off this season, he ain't been good. He was 5-5 last year and then went out with an injury, all right? Then they went 4-3 without Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow without top elite wide receivers is average. Ooh. He is. But we keep no for real though, but we keep living on the Super Bowl appearance. But we don't live on other stuff for other quarterbacks. Joe Burrow's not playing good football right now. He ain't. Right? And we keep putting him up there saying he's better than Josh Allen. He's the #2 quarterback in football. A lot of people say it. Don't look at me.
You said it?
A lot of people say it. But to be honest with you, the real is he ain't played well the last year and a half. He ain't. You just lost to the Patriots, man.
No, so James Jones has gone all out. He's out there. He claims that Joe Burrow is not only has he not been playing good, which is he didn't play good last week. Okay. He claims the last 2 years Joe Burrow has not played good. And last 2 years without Jamar Chase and his crazy weapons, that Joe Burrow is just an average quarterback. He's not a top 2 quarterback. He's not a top 5 quarterback. He's an average quarterback. James Jones, man, normally you actually say some logical stuff on this show. Clearly you, I guess ratings are down right now, and crapping on the Bengals is like, feeding families, apparently. So you double down. But you double down incorrectly, my good sir, because you said the last 2 years Joe Burrow has not played good football. Which... Okay. James, buddy, okay? I know who signs your checks, buddy. But last 2 years, last year, you're right. You said Joe Burrow, without Joe Burrow, the Bengals went 4-3, right? That's correct. They went 5-5 with Joe Burrow. But you gotta remember the first 4 weeks of the season, the guy had a calf strain, and they did go 1-3. Excuse me, 1-3 the first 4 games of the season. He had a calf strain where he was immovable and could not move. Still put up 2,300 yards, 15 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. But you know what happened the second year ago you talked about James Jones? He went 12-4 and was 1 play away from going to the Super Bowl. 1 drive away from going to the Super Bowl. So... James, my mans, you're doing too much, my guy. You're doing too much. Let's talk about last year. Because, again, once he came back from his, injury, once he came back from his calf strain, how good did Joe Burrow do? Because James Jones says he sucked. Though, did he suck as bad as, James Jones claims he does? 317 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Ooh, that's horrendous. Imagine having a quarterback who puts up those stats. Okay, well, I mean, that's just 1 game, okay? We're not going to take 1 game. Now, overall, he didn't play good in this game. Still had 185 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. And by the way, T. Higgins didn't do much in this game. Chase led the team. Okay. Well, what about the 49ers game? This is it, right? James. Buddy, I got you. This is it, right? This is where you're gonna... James. Bro, who's on your payroll? Because whoever's on your payroll needs to stop paying you. Okay, but Bills game. This is it. What? What? What's happening? James, you left me astray, buddy. The funny thing is, the person who actually retweeted this is a Bills Mafia fan. creative director of Buffalo Bills fan base, which is ironic because he said the last 2 years Joe Burrow sucked, yet Joe Burrow did this to the Bills. Ha! Okay, Texans game, even though we lost, right? 347 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. But Joe Burrow is average? You said he's an average quarterback? And he hasn't played good football the last 2 years? Really, James? Because if I go back to 2022, James, I believe we got all the way to an AFC Championship game, James Jones. Maybe instead of saying my quarterback's not a top 5 quarterback, not a top 2 quarterback, maybe you should do some fact checking instead of just talking and having your whole show gas you up and glaze you like you are the most correct person in the world. And also, James, I like to just point out something else. Joe Burrow is an average quarterback without Jamar Chase. He's an average quarterback without T. Higgins. Joe Burrow is 3-1 without Chase. Okay? 3-1. 222 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. 206 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. 355 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. 270, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. Is that average to you? Maybe that's average to you. Because the quarterbacks you play with, James, maybe they were average. But all I know is, without Jamar, Joe is still an elite quarterback. Let's see if they have it without T. Higgins. Let me actually go back to that website. Maybe that website will have without T. Let's see if they have it without T. I'm not sure if they have it on here. But even because last year T was hurt, but when T was hurt, it didn't really help. Joe is 3-2 without T. Higgins. 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, 2 touchdowns, 0 interception, 348 yards, 317, 347, 101. Obviously, Baltimore, very tough game. But is that average numbers? Because they look really good to me, James. I don't think that's an average quarterback number right there in either case. And both of them are plus 500 record, James. So don't sit here and try to trash talk my quarterback. Now, he makes a point that, you know, Lamar Jackson gets a lot of hate. Same thing with Josh Allen and all these other quarterbacks, Jalen Hurts. When they aren't good or they have a bad performance, that they get so much hate and Joe doesn't get the hate. That's what he claims. Well, I'm sorry to tell you, buddy, but we get more hate than anybody else. Okay, James? I don't know if you realize this. Maybe with your job being to bash us here, you aren't thinking, and your rest of your crew isn't doing their job of actually saying the facts here. But if Joe sneezes the wrong way, he's called injury prone. If he farts the wrong way, he's considered the worst quarterback in the league. If he does anything incorrect, the media rips him apart because he's a Cincinnati Bengal. If he can't win MVP award because they hate us. If he was on any other team, he would be considered the best quarterback. And even with all that hate and all that bullcrap that my quarterback goes through, he's still the best. He deals with the crappiest offensive play calls possible from Zach Taylor. He deals with an offensive line his whole entire career that has been absolutely dog water. He's dealing with freaking JV offensive linemen. JV! And you have the nerve to call my quarterback average and say he sucks? Really? Is that really your viewpoints, James Jones? Because without T, without Chase, he's still great. But you hope nobody looks that up and no one proves that point and no one brings that point up, because that point destroys your whole entire argument. And no one else on your whole entire show will question you or go against you or debate you because they're all getting paid to trash on my team. That's cool. That's cool, bro. If that's what your life is, if that's what you gonna do, bro, You do you. That's all we'll say. You do you. But you gotta... You're a joke, bro. You're a joke. And that sad part is, you used to be really cool, and now apparently you just want to join the whole club because that's what they pay you to do. They pay you to bash the Bengals. But keep bashing it. Keep bashing it, James. And don't you dare change your opinion when we saw it winning. When we saw it being successful, don't go back and say, oh no, actually guys, the Bengals are a great team and Joe Burrow is the best quarterback in the league. Because you were saying that last year. You were saying we were really good. You were saying the year before that Joe Burrow was really great. We lose one game to the Patriots. And now every single analyst is, they suck. They're trash. They're garbage. And that's how you know how fake they are. Because they were with us when we were high. And now that we're going through it, like we did last year, they're the first person to kick sand in our face and say, I told you so. Keep that same energy, guys. Keep that same energy when we go to the Super Bowl, baby. Keep it going. Who does?